Oh boy, disclaimer.
Welcome one and all to Simpsons Treehouse of Horror Countdown Review. Continue watching, if you dare. Well, it looks like the writers remembered that intros are meant to be short and to the point this time. Treehouse of Horror 25 starts with Kang and Kodas hosting the episode on Rigel 7, in the style of Johnny Carson. In a nice little nod to the previous instalment, we see clips of previous segments scroll by as Kang and Kodas announce all of the celebrities that will be appearing in the episode. We then see that said celebrities have all been killed and their bodies used to make the title card. It's short, sweet, and bloody. What's not to like? Original segments that don't parody anything. Rare as they are, when the writers do decide to pull an original story out of the bag, they always hit the nail on the head. Bart is in detention and discovers ancient scribblings on one of the desks. Upon bringing Lisa along to inspect it, she identifies its Aramaic script, and upon reading out loud the translation, they both get sucked into a school in hell. One thing I have to mention is the gorgeous visuals used throughout the segment. For some reason, the animators always do a great job when trying to bring the idea of hell into the animated world. The creatures and demons all look unique and original too. The best creature is the Skinner-Chalmers hybrid.
You changed the R-E to E-R in theatre. I hate that!
Well, I'll tell you who is supposed to be here.
In a case of the old switcheroo, Bart becomes a straight-A student due to his mischievous behaviour and love for all things maniacal and evil. Lisa, on the other hand, becomes popular for being good at insults, which leads to a great gag.
It's true. It would be a cold day in hell when I was popular.
Speaking of gags, the segment is really funny. I love how Mr. Burns' office is a portal to hell.
Welcome to Earth local time is 10:37. We know you have your choice of portals, so thank you for choosing the Burns Hellport, a division of Gulf and Western.
We also see a nice throwback to Treehouse 4 with a demon being force-fed donuts, much like Homer was in The Devil and Homer Simpson. Also, the gag about keeping the Yankees in first place being something taught in hell makes me chuckle every time. Bart manages to convince his parents to let him stay at the school, and he does them proud by getting straight A's in every subject. For his final exam, however, Bart must torture a sinner, and the one they picked for him is Homer. Whilst reluctant at first, Bart agrees to torture his dad after Homer says he wants him to do it because he's proud of him for finally being good at what he loves best. It's a surprisingly wholesome moment. We then see Homer's mangled corpse proudly looking on as Bart graduates. School is Hell gets an easy 9 out of 10 from me. It's funny, well written, and beautifully animated. The concept is original and they actually use it to its full potential. Add to that a wholesome end and some great character use and you have a gold segment. In a clear parody of A Clockwork Orange, Moe takes on the role as Alex and leads a gang called the Glugs, which consists of Lenny, Carl, and Homer. They live a life of petty crime until one day Homer falls for Marge and leaves the days of crime behind, causing the whole group to split. Moe becomes a bartender and years later gets assaulted by a new gang of Glugs: Nelson, Jimbo, Kearney, and Dolph. Enraged, he convinces Homer, Lenny and Carl to get back together again for one last night of crime together. After deciding to do a home invasion, they pick Mr. Burns' mansion, only to find a mask orgy taking place, a reference to another Stanley Kubrick film, Eyes Wide Shut. A fight breaks out between the gang and the guests, and we then see Stanley Kubrick in the editing room, unhappy with the film and asks for the whole thing to be reshot. I'll give it this much, it's a solid parody of A Clockwork Orange and it isn't just a shameless adaptation with random Simpsons gags thrown in. There's some originality to it and it has its own story. The animation is again wonderful here, with the futuristic London looking dark and eerie. The time-lapse of Homer and Marge's first night together is also a highlight. I like how all the characters have a slight British twang to their accents here, without it being a blatant piss take like 4 beheadings and a funeral had.
Enough of this quiet home life! It's time to be a man again.
The segment is also pretty funny too, with some nice gags. I like how Maggie gets her violent tendencies from her dad, and Moe using the eye openers just so he can watch TV is a nice touch. The best bit, however, is the fight scene towards the end. It's stunningly animated, and the sex blockers continuing to block out the nudity whilst it goes on is great. The references are fun too. Again, instead of just throwing them in there, they made them work with the segment. The reference to 2001: A Space Odyssey is really good, but the best one is the reference to Full Metal Jacket.
I'll let you finish.
The scene of Mo being beaten up but happy whilst the camera zooms in and the music blares is really beautiful to watch too. It feels really powerful despite just being a parody. Some might call the ending a cop-out, but I feel the idea of this being the original version of the film before Kubrick made his masterpiece a fun idea, and it's nowhere near as bad as the whole "it's a dream" shit. A Clockwork Yellow gets a solid 8.5 out of 10 from me. It's a fun parody of a great movie with good jokes, animation and character work. Also, the music and voice acting is on point. This segment is great. The family start noticing odd things happening around their house, such as frosty chocolate milkshakes being left in the kitchen and blood appearing on the mirrors. As it turns out, it's the ghosts of their former selves from the Tracy Ullman shorts. Yes, this segment has the Simpsons meeting themselves from a previous time. That's awesome. The old family look fantastic too. They did a great job recapturing the old animation style, including the animation glitches. What I like about this segment is that the main story isn't about the haunting of the house, nor is it about discovering what's causing the problems. The story revolved around the meeting of the two families, taking full advantage of the concept. I love old school Homer in this segment especially.
I'll crack you. What kind of afterlife is this? Can't even strangle my dead kid.
Old school Marge starts to fall for modern Homer, who returns to feelings. Marge gets jealous and kills herself. Jesus. When she comes back as a spirit, she and old school Marge fight over Homer's affection. Old school Homer then kills modern Homer by beating him up with a toaster, causing him to drown in the bathtub. Bartrix leads him to killing herself, but her ghost kills Bart. Groundskeeper Willie then takes the bodies of the three kids, implying he's a cannibal.
Willie's got stew for the winter.
Odd new personality trait. Wait, did I just say 3 kids?
Wait a minute, who killed Maggie?
Eventually, Homer and Marge make up with help from Dr. Marvin Monroe, as do their old school counterparts, and the two families agree to get along. And then we get perhaps the single best ending to a Treehouse episode ever. Lisa wonders if there are any other incarnations of the Simpsons family, and we see many variations in different animation styles turn up. One cool reference is having John Ratzenberger, who has lent his voice to all the Pixar films, voice computer animated Homer.
Alright, Simpsons, welcome to our new home.
Other animation styles include anime, South Park, Archer, Bob's Burgers, Adventure Time, Lego, and even the freaking Minions. We even see their animal counterparts from Treehouse 13. I'll be honest, the segment isn't scary and isn't the funniest around, but it really doesn't need to be. Sometimes all you need is a great idea, the ability to work with said idea, and some imagination. And there are still some good laughs. Also, we finally get an answer to the whole Marvin Monroe conspiracy.
Dr. Marvin Monroe? Are you alive or dead?
Huh, I'm in some horrible limbo. I can walk halfway through walls and I get stuck. Uh-oh.
Now I'm gonna have to look at that every morning.
The Others gets an 8.5 out of 10 from me for just being such a great idea that worked well. They did a great job in bringing together the old and modern incarnations of the Simpson family in a way that was watchable and enjoyable. Well, they did us a service with this instalment. What an episode! They managed to give us not one, but 2 extremely original ideas that hit the nail on the head, and a fantastic parody of a great film. All 3 segments were highly enjoyable and fun to watch. Sure, School is Hell was the best of the 3, but don't let that distract you from knowing that A Clockwork Yellow and the Others are also top tier segments. I'm going to give Treehouse of Horror 25 a 9 out of 10 for 3 terrific, fun, and well animated segments that were all well written and fresh. And that's it for this video and this review. Do you agree with me, or do you think I'm a glug short of a gang? What do you think of Treehouse of Horror 25? Let me know in the comments below. Thanks for watching, I'll see you next time.